All right. All right. Guess who's back?
What's up, everybody?
He's back, baby.
I missed you guys. What's going on, everybody?
We're back. It's the American Fan Podcast.
Unlike the last episode, that was the Fan Podcast.
Yeah, Miss Morgan, she filled in admirably.
Yes, thank you for that, sweetheart.
That was amazing, yeah. We had a good time with her. Now we're back with Nick. We're going to talk about some fun stuff in the first episode. All three episodes are going to be a blast. But, before we get started, why don't you tell them briefly, what happened? Like, why the hiatus? You went on a little vacay, which was super exciting for you.
So my son had actually been sent down there for 2 months. So, with my father and the rest of my family down there. So I was, after 2 months, kind of figured that, hey, my dad comes up, brings him down, then I come down, me and my brother, we would come down and spend the vacation over there and then take him back up with us before his school started, which, by the way, I now have a kid that's in school. I can't believe how big he's gotten.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Yeah. The Red Baron, as I call him. Yeah, he's getting big.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy how fast the time goes, man. But yeah, that was the purpose. I went to Florida, went to see the family. It was great. I gotta tell you, though, I gotta say it does kind of stink because I realized that, everyone knows is when you get older, and I know I'm saying this as a 30-year-old, so I know I'm trying to imitate like some old wise guy or something, but that doesn't mean like it doesn't have the same meaning, which is that I just came to a realization that I really did not take the time of my life to vacation more like most people have, like yourself included. Mm-hmm. And after that vacation, I just said, you know what, I gotta start vacationing more because now that Leon's starting school, availability is a little limited now. And look, there's nothing wrong with that. That's just the way with, parenthood. And I wouldn't take it back for the world. He is my life. But I wish I would have taken more opportunity to have family plan to to come and see us, or say, hey, how about we make dates for us to come down more often? And this time made me realize that, and I just said, you know what? We're going to just make time for these specific times and not exactly the whole year due to, as I just said, school. So, but regardless of that, I had a wonderful time. I missed you guys when I was down there, but I did really miss it down there. That's my home. I'm from Florida.
Had some fun on the beach. Got a little bit of sun. A little bit of a tan.
Oh, yeah.
Got to hang out with fam. That sounds like an exciting and productive time. So
absolutely.
I'm glad for you. You got to enjoy life, right or wrong. We all have to mark the moment and enjoy life as much as possible.
Precisely.
So, yeah. All right, you want to jump into current events? Because we got some really hilarious and interesting things to talk about.
And just a little word to the audience. I have been fighting a little cough, so if I start coughing, don't be alarmed. There's a little something going on.
Got a little bit of raspy voice, a little Kenny Rogers thing going on. It's a sex appeal. I know you're a taken man, but it's probably productive for the audience. All right, let's jump right in. My first topic that I really wanted to talk about, I thought it was hilarious.
Oh, yeah?
Super interesting.
What's that?
It's about one of my favorite football franchises, NFL franchise, the Minnesota Vikings. I know. Sports is my wheelhouse, a little less for you, but I mean, you still like sports. We'll talk about the male cheerleaders that they hired. No, it's okay. I'm a big fan of male cheerleaders in general. They've been around since time began in collegiate sports.
Okay.
But everybody's perception when you say the word male cheerleader is like a very extreme athlete. Like gymnasts that are men are unbelievably powerful, super strong. You guys don't know what I'm talking about. They hold up the women like with one hand. Yep. They do flips. They catch them. That's not what the Minnesota Vikings hired. for the full season, mind you. I just want the audience to know, for the full NFL season, you have two individuals. We're gonna like rattle off their names. Blaze Sheik, that is his name, Blaze Sheik.
That name says it all.
And Louis Kahn. You know, I had to do a double take. I don't know if you've ever done this with somebody that's transgender or somebody that's in transition, somebody that's, you know, happens to be homosexual.
Yeah.
They're a male that walks by. Blaze is kind of hot, I gotta say. Don't get me wrong, not attracted to the opposite gender, but I mean, I had to do a double take when I saw pictures. I was like, Blaze isn't too bad, you know? If I had a few beers and somebody wrote me a check, who knows? But that's not going to happen anytime soon. But they did hire two male cheerleaders.
You couldn't pay me $1 million for that.
I know, there's no amount of money. I mean, I don't want to go to prison twice, so like...
Okay,
what happened in prison happened in prison. Like what happened in Vegas happens in Vegas. So we don't want to talk about that unless I am forced to by the U.S. Justice Department. All right, let's move forward. Let's concentrate on the male cheerleaders. But the Vikings hired a couple people that are extremely effeminate. They're getting, and the reason I bring it up doesn't bother me either. It probably doesn't bother Nick at all either.
It's sports, so I couldn't care less either way.
Couldn't care less. It's just getting a huge amount of backlash because people are like, you know, oh my God, like I can't believe they're hiring these dudes that are acting like women because both of them are still dudes. And I know that for a fact because I went and researched via video. And I saw some practicing of the Minnesota Vikings male cheerleaders, Blaze and Louis, and yeah, I saw their wieners moving. So they got pom poms and their little skirts fly up, and you can see wieners. So I'm just saying, I got to put it out there in the ether. Yeah, both of them have not transitioned.
Of all the things, you know, I saw a lot of news like just in the last week. This didn't pop up on my radar. Where are you looking for this stuff?
This takes the cake. Oh, this is all over sports news for sure. I mean, this is.
That explains. I don't want sports news.
This is a big deal. Like, I mean, people are like really giving Minnesota, the Vikings, a lot of backlash and pushback on the issue itself. It doesn't bother me either way. I think it makes it interesting, and it's got kind of like a hilarious notion to it,
right? Because
so many of the straight dudes and just normal football fans are like, they're not happy about it. But I mean, it doesn't bother me any. And congrats to Blaze for getting me to do a double take, I gotta say. So, I mean, you could have fooled me. I mean, you didn't fool me, but for a couple seconds.
You were like, you had to think for a second.
That's not too shabby. Oh, wait a minute. So, yeah, that was topic number one. I don't know if there was another topic you wanted to interject and what you wanted to talk about, because my next topic is about the WNBA. We can jump right into that if you want to.
I guess that's sports is the topic. I guess we could just jump right into that one.
Any other sentiments on the Vikings, or like, are you like me? I don't care.
So
I just think it's kind of like a circus, and it's kind of funny to watch.
That's
these people
that's
that
my
are uptight, getting
my thoughts,
a little crazy.
So my thoughts are that it's just, so I don't care either way because it's sports. But I will say this right now. What the hell were they thinking given the time period that we're in? We just got through a time period where men and women's sports or anything like that was a factor in what happened in the last election. What are they thinking of doing here now? Did they not realize that's a losing, like the ramifications that can come with that?
They are still
I'm not saying
going.
this is the same thing as that
the
particular
Democratic
thing,
or the left, the heavy majority Democratic.
I call it the modern left because a liberal would not support such action. So
100%.
I don't rope liberals with the modern left because when people ask me, is there anything wrong being a Democrat? I'm like, no, there's nothing wrong being a Republican or a Democrat. There's something wrong being a modern Democrat.
Correct.
Just
I agree with you. I mean,
just like modern Republican is way different than the neocons we dealt with in the early 2000s. So.
Very true. Yeah, they don't see it like that. They think this is everything's open game. It's an infringement on the transgender community, if they're not allowed to participate, wave their pom-poms, and be male cheerleaders. I say go for it, have some fun. I enjoy the Ringling Brothers that this is going to be for the NFL season, because there's going to be continued pushback on this issue. There's no doubt in my mind. Yeah. So, but well, let's jump in. That was a fun little topic to talk about. Congrats again to Blaze and Louise. So, like, you're real trailblazers in the sense of the cheerleading community. That's like probably I believe it's a first. So, I don't know what type of award you get, but all right, good luck, guys. So, or ladies, sorry. Anyways, but the WNBA. This is a little twofold process and discussion. First part is, I mean, we got to talk about it. The elephant in the room. It's been talked about ad nausea, but I mean, it is kind of. What are your sentiments? No, I'm just going to focus on the microscope of July 29th forward, where there's been 5 dildos that have been thrown on the hardwood during the games. What is your sentiment on the situation?
You said WNBA and throwing dildos. That's about all I needed to know. I
just think it's hilarious.
This is the most outrageous thing ever since Rabbi Shmuley was talking about Jewish sex toys on Piers Morgan's show.
Oh my God! Yeah.
Yes, that actually happened.
I actually remember that. That was crazy.
So anything
Shmuley is such a tool.
He is such a tool. But I gotta tell you,
I don't hate him. I just think he's a tool.
No, I will tell you, there was one video I finally found him reasonable to listen to. It was when he was on the Piers Morgan show. They were actually talking about Michael Jackson.
I remember that episode.
So, believe it or not, that was probably his best
he was relevant in that episode.
I was like, wow, he actually... I, like, every time you say, Rabbi Shmuley, your thoughts... I was like,
he actually had some pertinent comments. Yeah,
I was like, okay, he's got some decent takes on the subject. So,
WNBA. I mean, does it bother you on the dildo issue? Like, do you care if there's dildos being thrown on the court?
You know, throwing stuff on a stage is as old as time itself. So if someone wants to throw dildos or apples or beer cans, I mean, throwing stuff is just ridiculous to begin with. So it's just extra ridiculous just to throw dildos on a freaking basketball court.
I want to know the purpose. I don't know. They're doing an investigation. There's some tie. I don't know.
There's an investigation on why people are throwing dildos.
Yeah,
is this absolutely. A real story?
No, that's a real thing.
There's an investigation because people threw dildos on.
Yeah, there's some sort of crypto attachment to it with a crypto
WNBA dildos.
I don't know enough about it to talk about it, so I'm not going to name names.
God.
I'm gonna do more research. That'll be in coming episodes. But the WNBA in general, like the complaint.
They're a mess. They're such a mess. I swear.
It is. It is and I've watched a little bit of it to try and see what people are talking about. I'm a huge NBA fan. I'm a huge sports fan in general. The WNBA, to me, is like a minor league team. I'm sorry. That's just, it is what it is. They're not very good, other than Caitlin Clark, and they are down. She's been on injury. She's been out for a month and a half.
And I know she's like the most
famous revenue is down 30. I want to say that to everybody listening. It's down 30% with one person being out. So they're heavily reliant on Caitlin Clark.
So just like the Cavaliers used to rely on LeBron James. Gotcha.
Yeah. I mean, but in terms of the league itself would have been suffice. It would have been sustainable with LeBron in or out. The WNBA is not sustainable with Caitlin Clark in it. Even though they're down 30%, you add the 30% back. Do you know how much money they lost in 2024?
I take it to
they lost $49 million.
I was going to say the millions range, but $49 million?
On average, they've lost $11.5 million a year since 1997. So you're talking over 300 and some.
How are they still fun? I mean, I have no problem with women playing in sports. If they have sports, that's great. How are they still in business? They've been losing money.
They've been losing money because the majority shareholder or owner in the WNBA is the NBA. So the NBA is keeping the WNBA afloat. They own over 60% of the WNBA.
Do they really want their successes going towards a failing part of their business?
Well, it's all about we got to keep the ladies going. We got to keep them in business.
Hey, if that's your thing,
even though the business has not been profitable, not since a couple of years, since 1997, they haven't made any money. So I bring up the second topic, which is why are the women, and I'm just talking to women in society in general, but most importantly, put the microcosm on the female athletes themselves, the WNBA players. They're complaining about the pay structure for a league that hasn't been profitable since '97.
I'm really surprised that
they're only making. I'm only making $149,000.
Only making $149,000. That's chump change compared to what we make. Probably together. I guarantee our salaries together don't match the average WNBA salary. Am I wrong?
Well, I don't want to say that out loud. There's a lot of illegal activity funneling through this household, so I don't want to condone any of the money laundering that I possibly did.
All right.
That's a shout out to Justin in Wisconsin. He's the only one that knows about some activity that might take place in Cleveland, Ohio.
Oh my God!
Hi, Just. What's up, bud?
Okay.
Anyways,
but you know what? It's interesting that they're talking about
I'm going to jail, so this is my last episode, ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's gonna be just the Nick show, the American Nick show, I guess.
Right. It'll survive, just like the WNBA. It won't make any money, but it will continue on because I will keep it afloat in the background from my jail cell. How about that? So, but the average WNBA player makes $150K. And they're complaining because the average NBA player makes $12 million a year. That's the average. You got people like Steph Curry, LeBron, they're making upwards of almost $60 million a year. But you also have the players making, $1 or $2 mil a year. I think the league minimum's right around $1 mil. I don't think they
like
can
$1 million, I think,
to play basketball for 82 games. We're not talking about the entire year. I get it. They're professional athletes. They deserve it. Why? Because the NBA as an entity, as a business entity, makes over $12 billion a year. How much money does the WNBA draw in revenue? $890 million. So it's in terms of scale, those salaries are pretty much in line. Plus, at the $890 million, this is what I want to stress to the viewers, to you, to anybody.
We'll
just round off. They're bringing in terms of WNBA is bringing in $900 million. They're not making $1 billion. They're just barely making $900 million. Let's just round it off. Say they're bringing in $900 million. They're not profitable at $900 million. They're losing $49 million like they did in 2024. 2024, they would have had to bring in $950 million to break even. So if they would have made $1 billion, they would have made $50 million, which in the grand scope of things is not much, but they didn't. It's like, well, what if we can make that? Well, then go ahead and do it. Yeah. I'm a sales guy. I can't go to my boss and say, well, what if I get that $1 million contract with that vitamin retailer and we get that? Well, great. Then you'll get the commission on it. Once that's done, I can't say ahead of time, well, I should be getting paid more money. Because what if I get that contract? I could sell a lot more vitamins. Yeah, I mean, it's just... The complaint is insane. The dildos is insane. And I highly encourage anybody that listens to this podcast the 35 to 40 odd people that listen to the podcast or follow us, and they're most family and friends. But there's a couple people that are new viewers.
Yeah.
Which is exciting.
We just got 2 new subscribers this week.
I encourage you to go try and watch an entire WNBA game. And I'm not trashing females. I'm not trashing the athletes.
Yeah.
It's just...
There are some sports for females are very good.
You have to be transparent and honest with your audience, with yourself. It's not good.
It's
not a good product.
No, I would agree with you. As far as I know, anyway. And what's interesting is, excuse me, regarding the WNBA being profitable. Have you ever watched the Whatever podcast, that dating podcast with Brian? Andrew Wilson pops up on it.
Yes.
Okay, so you know how brain dead a lot of their guests' takes can be, right?
100%.
Yeah, but I gotta tell you, so like they would all like repeat the same thing. If you ask them what racism means, they'll give a stupid answer. What is a woman? I can't. A woman is someone who identifies as a woman. It's stupid. They're brain dead takes. But most of the guests on there, with the exception of maybe 1 or 2 that I saw, when asked, "Hey, do you think the WNBA should be getting paid as much as the NBA?" Most of the women on there with the same brain dead takes that I mentioned to you, most of them said no, they shouldn't be. And when asked why, like, why is that? Why do you think that way? They all said because the viewership is not nearly as high as the others. And I'm like, wow. I'm really surprised that most of their answers are the same with that. And it's the correct one. And I'm looking from a business standpoint that, if you're not that profitable, you can't ask for a better wage. If you don't bring profit to a company, I don't own a business. I've never worked in sales, but I have sold valuable items like expensive games that were made like 30 years ago that it's not in production anymore. I know how it works. And let me tell you, if they were worth something, I couldn't charge for some games $100 a piece because they're not in production anymore. They're even more than that now. But I'm just saying that's just the way it is. It's no different than the WNBA. If you're not making money, you don't get to be paid more money.
Agreed.
So it's just
So final shout out to Louie and Blaze. Big fans. So of the male cheerleaders for the Vikings. Anyways, we are gonna segue out. We're gonna come back. We're gonna have an awesome episode about world records, Guinness Book of World Records, that type of stuff. What we found interesting. I sent Nick on a scavenger hunt to find out like 2 or 3 things that he thought in terms of world records
that
were
were
exciting.
saved on here. I could probably read them or something.
I picked out 3 that I found extremely fascinating and personal connection to. So that's what we're going to talk about in the next segment of episode. What is this? This is episode 6? No? Yeah? I believe so. I think
this is 6.
Yeah, so it's 6.
This is 6.
We'll talk about that, and then we'll have an exciting 3rd segment, and we'll be back in just a moment.